In this session, we're going to have our presenter and contributor to Che, Project Suntan with SERLI, and he's going to share with you his presentation on pair programming in Che.
So during this session, I'm going to show you how we bring pair programming features in Eclipse Che. So let's start the presentation. Oops. Okay, so before we start, so my name is Suntan. I'm a Java developer and team leader. I've been involved in Eclipse Che for almost a year, as we've been contributing with my team into a lot of extensions and features in Che, such as the pair programming extension. So those is going to be the feature I'm going to introduce to you. The GitHub contribution workflow as well, data source extensions, and we did also first integrated the Orion editor into Che. So I'm working for a company called SERLI. So it's a very small company located in France. We only 70 people, but we are doing a lot of stuff in the Java community, as we are leading the Java user groups in Poitou-Charentes. I'm myself part of Paris Java user group, and we do organize a lot of events such as the JUG Summer Camp in La Rochelle. And we do a lot of open source contributions, and a lot of we help in lots of big companies such as Red Hat and Oracle to help in improving their software, such as Word and Glassfish, and many others, and of course Eclipse Che. So okay, let's start to see what I'm going to introduce to you. So I think most of you guys are developers, and you may do practice pair programming. It's a good opportunity to share your knowledge and tips when you're together with teammates. When you're working with someone else, it's a good way to improve the quality of your software when you have two people looking at the same code at the same time. And even better if you have someone that has a better experience in programming. It's a good way also to improve the team spirits. And of course, it's a moment where you stay focused on your task. But sometimes it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It doesn't. How to say in English? It doesn't goes as well as we expect. So, for instance, sometimes when I do pair program with one of my teammates, and I'm using his computer, his fonts may be too small for me, and I barely can, for instance, can read what's on his screen. That's one of the problems I have when I pair program with some teammates. Another problem that can occur is when a teammate is using another keyboard language, keyboard layout, sorry. For instance, someone who's using a Mac French keyboard layout, whereas I'm using a standard US keyboard. It can get pretty hard to pair program with this kind of conditions. And we today are more and more working from remotely, so working from home or working from in different countries. And pair program is it's getting more difficult to organize in that way. Of course, some IDEs provides some tools to where you can share a pair programming session, but that involves a lot of software installation. For instance, in Eclipse or in JetBrains IDE, you need to install a plugin and blah 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 blah, and you need to have the same plugin installed, and it may not be easy to do. So we need an easy way to also to start a pair programming session. And I think that Cloud IDEs, it's a good answer to this problem, because today Cloud IDEs provide pretty much the same features that we have in classic desktop IDEs. People can work from anywhere. Can connect to the cloud to the IDEs from anywhere. We only need a browser. No installation need additional software are needed, and that brings a lot of features such as pair programming. Okay, so the pair programming plugins I'm going to show, it's about the pull request that we are currently working on. So it's still in progress, and we're still working on it. You can so it's in a branch, so you can access to it and build it if you would like to test it right away. So I'm going to show you during this session the pair programming architecture that we're going to use a project called Flux, Eclipse Flux, which is an Eclipse project, and I'm going to show you Eclipse Flux running on Eclipse Share, and I'm going to show you Eclipse Orion and Eclipse IDE are sharing the same pair programming station. And then I'm going to show you the pair programming extension in Che, and we will have the three editors sharing the same pair programming station. At last, we have I'm going to show you how we can share a terminal and pair program to use Git, for instance, in the terminal, and share the Git session, for instance. Okay, so Eclipse Flux, it's a project that has been initialized by Pivotal. The goal of this project is to connect several tools in the cloud, and these different tools with, for instance, an IDE or whatever, will exchange messages. And we have a central server that will relay all the messages to all the different participants of the tools and talk to each other. And with this architecture, we can we have some use case that we have been implemented, such as the pair programming. So this is what I'm going to show you. But there's also other demos that we have where we got an Eclipse Orion that doesn't support Java instance that can use an Eclipse IDE that is running somewhere else in the cloud. And we have also demos for file system synchronization. So Eclipse Flux is based on a RabbitMQ, which is going to be used to relay the messages. So each message that's been exchanged has the content in JSON. It has a name, and the messages can be broadcast or sent to one particular participant in the session. So of course, the content of the JSON, so the structure of the JSON, the schema, is defined by the use case. So I'm going to show it just after. So Flux will expose a WebSocket, so it will be easy to implement a plugin for tools or for web application to connect into the Flux session. So if we have a look to one pair programming session, and we open in Chrome the Google DevTools in the network tab, we can see all the messages that's been exchanged. And one of the messages that's been exchanged in WebSocket is a live resource change. So this message looks like this in JSON. So this is a message that is sent by one of the editor when I type in the keyboard the letter H. So you can see that you have added characters H here. So this is the character that's a type. We have the offset of the character, the position where the character has been typed, and thus the file that has been modified. And this message is being broadcast into all the participants, and all the editors will update their editors that way. And this is how we get all the editors synchronized. So if you want to install the Eclipse Flux in your computer, what you are going to do is have to install Node.js, RabbitMQ, and then with npm we will get Eclipse Flux Server, Eclipse the Eclipse Orion with the Flux plugins, and Socket.io. In Eclipse IDE, you can install the Eclipse Flux plugin. So because I'm not a JavaScript developer and I spend a lot of time in configuring Flux, when I started, I decided to do all this stuff in Docker, so it would be easier for me to get the Flux server up and running in any server when I need it. So this Docker instance looks like this one. So we start from a Debian image. We installed RabbitMQ. We installed Node.js in npm, and then we installed Flux with npm, and that's all. And now when we get this, we can connect, we can launch it and connect Eclipse Orion and the Eclipse IDE. And so for this first demo, I'm going to show you, I'm going to start it, so the Docker as a Che runtime. So let's go for the demo. Here it is. So if I'm in my local host, I'm going to create a new workspace. Oops. And I'm going to create a workspace from a stack. Here in the stack library, so this is a Che version that is based on the pull request that I showed you just before. There is a stack called Flux, and this Flux stack actually is using this runtime ECP that is actually have this content. If you have a look to this, the source of this runtime ECP has the content that I've just showed you just before. So it will install the RabbitMQ and Flux and npm and everything. And so if I run it in my, I choose this stack, and I'm going to give it a name, so Flux 3. I'm going to choose a sample project that I'm going to start with, and I'm going to create the workspace. So it's going to create the workspace with the Flux stack that is going to use the Docker container that I showed you just before. And so in this, I'm going to create a new command in Che that will start the Fax server. So it looks like this. So it will be available soon. And if we have a look to the stack, so this is a simplified JSON file of the stack that we are using. So it's used the Docker file, the Docker image that we showed you just before, and it's predefined the commands that we're going to use. I'm going back to my Che server, and that is running locally. And we just wait it. It's taking some time. Normally, it should start. Okay, so here I have the command. I can just show you quickly. So the command is starting Flux, and I'm going to run it from here. And what I have just next to it is an Eclipse IDE with the Flux server. I'm going to configure this Eclipse. No, just here. So it will connect into the local Flux server. So just configure it, and we need to provide the right server location and ports. So 3000. I'm going to paste it. In Eclipse, get the HTTP and it's going to restart the Eclipse with the Flux plugin. Next to it, I'm going to start the Orion editor. And, oh yes. So if I do a modify in Eclipse, it's all the modification is broadcasted into all the editors, and I get all the editors synchronized. All right. I'm going to open the same file in Che. And normally in Che it's updated as well. Okay, so we have the Eclipse IDEs and Eclipse Orion in the same sessions. So I'm going to show you the extension that we have been working on in Che that we connect to the same programming session. So what we have to know is that Eclipse Che will send a lot of events, notification, such as when you start the command, that the process has been started. And this is how, from the extension, we can get the events and connect the Eclipse Che editor into the same programming session. And this is what I'm going to show you just next here. So normally, if I keep it on the first plan, if I modify here from Che, I get all the data synchronized. All good. So now, and I can do it as well from Eclipse and from Orion. This is good. I'm going to close all this stuff because I'm going to show you an instance that is running in the cloud. And I'm going to say some CPU. Yes, okay. And I'm going to close this one as well. So this is an instance that is running in the cloud. It's running on an Amazon server. It's a standard Che server, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to share the programming session, so you will be able to join the programming session and modify the same project as well if you want to. If you want to break my project. Okay, let's share the file in the Crowdcast. So before you go into that session, there is a bug. There is a bug, but there's a workaround. When you open the Flux, what you have to do is close the hello world file and reopen it. So it's the synchronization gets validated. So I'm going to do it as well here. Oh, too many notifications. It's the first time I'm testing this with more than 100 users. So we'll see if it breaks. Please don't blame me. Okay. So close the hello world editor and reopen it. Normally, it should get auto-updated. Okay, so some people are already breaking my my hello world. Thank you very much. Too many people in these things. There is also another feature that I can show you if I close this. Close this. It's so completely broken. Okay. Okay. I am erasing. Thank you very much to erase all this crap. If you see, there is also the all the cursor that's going broadcast into all the editors. So you see the cursor of all the editors, and this is something that has been done by during the last Google Summer of Code. So I'm going back to the slide. Oops. So it's something that we've been working during the Google Summer of Code. So it's Rondika, which is one of the students who did implemented the display of the cursor of each participant. So because we are getting almost at the end, I'm going to show you what we can do with the terminal in Che. And for instance, if you want to show someone how to use Git in the terminal, what we can do is use one of the Linux terminal multiplexer. So there's several ones. So there's Temux and there's Screen. So if you use Screen, so I'm going to go back to Che, open a new terminal, and launch Screen. So if you are on your terminal, in your Che, you run a screen -x, you will join the oof. Okay, there's several one. Screen -x. So I guess it's gonna be it's the first one. Okay. Okay, we have to paste this and do a screen. Oh. Okay. Okay, it's not working, but maybe someone can just exit this one. It's doing a crazy. Oh, it's ASCII art. Whoa! Someone is breaking my my session. So okay, it's it's a live demo. Nothing is working. Everything is breaking my project. And if I do screen, I can. Screen dash X. Oh, yes, dash. And here I can do, for instance, slash go to slash project and do to a console. You can see that it's live synchronized. You can do a tick that's all, for instance, if I want to show the gates graph. Okay. And if you want to join this screen session, you can type a screen-x. And that's pretty much with the presentation. What we are going to do next in this pull request is to move Flux, Eclipse Flux into a Che agents. And we're also for alternatives. So we're going to see if there is any other protocols to replace or use Flux, to replace Flux or not. So we're going to study it. And that's pretty much with the presentation. So thank you for attending. And next is going to be
some pair programming in Che, building an IoT IDE with JSON, and Brad with Codenvy in just a moment.